Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy Festive Friday card. It's actually using scraps. Well, these were scraps. This piece I actually cut on purpose, but I'm sure if I'd used bigger pieces I'd have had a scrap. It's using the Take a Bow Designer Series 6x6 paper. So it's a lovely pack of all sorts of different patterns. And I keep my spare pieces in the back of the pack so you can see how I happen to have quite a bit left over. And of course, being double-sided, they're the opposites of each other, so it is so easy. Let me get started and show you how I made it. So I took a piece of Granny Apple Green, which is one of the three colours: Granny Apple Green, Real Red and Garden Green. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's the size we're all comfortable with to get it to fit into an envelope. And then the biggest piece is 2.5 by 2.5, and this is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. So let me just start by getting that stuck on, because what I did was, rather than you watch me put adhesive on the back of all of these little pieces of cardstock, I went ahead and did that already. So I've pre-stickied them. So my advice is lay down the big square, but don't stick it on. And then you can sort of get an idea for the first one. I'm putting everything on gently, just because I don't want to commit anything until I make sure I've got all the gaps between the papers sort of to my satisfaction, as it were. So that looks all right. And then we'll go across the bottom. And as you can see, whatever this Designer Series paper is, it's currently with the sticky side up, the opposite. So you get some idea of how amazing all these different designs are. And then we just need to put the two up the side. Like I say, it's just a little bit of careful cutting and careful placing, and then when you're happy enough with it, you can sort of stick them down. There is 1/6 of a basic white to go on the inside. So rather than cut full quarters, I just cut it into 4 1/4 and then cut them at 3.5. And then you get 6 pieces out of a layer, rather than a sheet, rather than just the 4. And when you're making lots of multiples of holiday cards, I think that's a handy dandy way just to save a little bit of your paper. So we'll put the big square in, and then I'm going to be using, the greeting is coming out of One of a Kind, so it says, hope you have the merriest season ever. So I'm going to use Garden Green, and I pre-die cut this rectangle out of the stitched rectangle dies, or you could just cut it by hand, or however you want your greeting to go. And I'm just going to stamp it slightly towards the top of the rectangle, because what I did was I made a little bow which came out of some gold cord from a past paper pumpkin kit, actually. And then I'm going to bring in some glue dots. And the nice thing about glue dots is they're very malleable. You can move them around quite a bit. So I'll take the backing, well, I'll attempt to take the backing off. And then because the cord is quite thin, you can actually just roll these little glue dots. So I don't know if you can see that. It sort of just rolls it so it's slightly smaller, but it's enough to hold the bow in place without there being too much visible at the sides. And then last but not least, we will pop a couple of dimensionals on. And that can just go into the middle of that section. So I think they're rather nice. I'd done one way back. This was a paper pumpkin kit that had lots of extra envelope pieces. And then I'd also done one with the perennial lavender set. So obviously it's the same concept. So I just Christmasified it, holidayfied it, but I think they're rather effective, and it's really a great way to use up any extras that you might have. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate those. If you've got any questions or comments, pop those in the description box below. As always, of course, the directions and dimensions will be on my blog, so you could pop there for a reminder. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.